These animators are on shaky ground.
Yes, correct.
What happened with the actor strike? Did they settle that?
There are actors, dwarf actors, that dreamed to be in a major motion picture such as this Disney remake. And now, because Peter Dinklage said what he said last year, now it's taken...
Rachel Zegler is losing over $1 million as a result of her dismissal from Disney. But it's not even the biggest shock. Her bold comments about Snow White and her controversial social media posts have angered fans, and even Joe Rogan has voiced his opinion. How is Disney handling the backlash of their most hated trailer to date? And what precisely did she say that made Rogan's followers laugh? Welcome, Rachel Zegler, to Prince Winsworth Factory 26. Let's look into it. Once a beloved Disney star, Rachel Zegler is now expressing her anger at the company that helped her. Disney's latest move, which follows Zegler's termination from many high-profile contracts, seems to be costing him more than $1 million. But let's be honest, this decision isn't entirely surprising. Zegler's frequent and contentious remarks have now caused Disney to face yet another PR headache. Given that the corporation is already having trouble regaining the loyalty of its followers, this occurrence seems to be simply another setback in a series of mistakes that have harmed its reputation.
These animators are on shaky ground.
Yes, correct.
What happened with the actor strike? Did they settle that?
Even Joe Rogan is paying attention now that the issue between Rachel Zegler and Disney has escalated to unprecedented levels. The plot changed course in August 2024 when Disney posted the first teaser for their live-action Snow White on YouTube. What might have been a moment of joy for the company quickly became a public relations catastrophe. The teaser became the most notorious movie trailer in YouTube history after receiving around 1 million dislikes in a few short days. Disney just published a new trailer last week in an effort to change the plot. Instead, it fanned the fires. The trailer had almost 1 million dislikes before it was even released, 720,000 on Disney's official channel, and an additional 400,000 on leaked uploads. The comment section? Completely savage. It was mocked by one member who said, "I came here just because I wanted to be a part of that community after seeing on Facebook that this video has over 1 million downvotes. Wow, Disney, it took you $29 million, countless rewrites, and unnecessary CGI for me to enjoy the comment section of a movie I'll never watch," was an additional snarky remark. May you be blessed. It's clear that fans are angry, frustrated, and fed up with Disney's attempts to promote what they see as progressive issues. But what exactly went wrong? Critics and fans alike claim that casting and artistic decisions have alienated the core fan base. Disney, for instance, chose to replace the well-known Seven Dwarfs with a range of fascinating animals. Although it was intended to be a progressive choice, it went terribly wrong. Actors with dwarfism criticized Disney for supposedly disregarding a group that was already at a disadvantage for the sake of diversity. Disney was left reeling as this decision sparked an outraged reaction, rather than a celebration of inclusivity.
Actors, dwarf actors, that dreamed to be in a major motion picture such as this Disney remake. And now, because Peter Dinklage said what he said last year, now it's taken away.
Rachel Zegler follows, whose name has come to symbolize discord for a lot of Disney fans. When she was originally cast as Snow White, fans were hopeful. Maybe, just maybe, this is the fresh start Disney has been longing for. But such hope was short-lived. In a now famous interview, Zegler criticized the original Snow White, calling it dated and dismissing its romance as weird and unnerving for those who grew up with the classic tale. Her remarks seemed to be an outright betrayal. Her speech pattern was as significant as the words she used. Her tone came out as condescending and contemptuous, which offended both the fans and the legacy of the original artists. Disney's reaction, or lack thereof, made matters worse. The company seemed to endorse Zegler's account rather than step in to diffuse the tension. By doing this, they only served to reinforce the perception that they were deserting their loyal fan base. A lot of people thought Disney was deliberately damaging its own brand. The resurgence of an old 2022 interview heightened the criticism. In it, Zegler said that since the animated Snow White scared her as a child, she had avoided it for almost a decade. She became even more critical, saying that the film was outdated and that the new version would radically redefine the term fairest of them all, ignoring beauty. While some fans see this as a modern variant, many others see it as simply another attack on the beloved original. At the front of the social media boom was TikTok. In their outrage, many compared Zegler to Halle Bailey from The Little Mermaid. Apparently, their habits were linked to the son of Zegler's new wife, a man named John Seward. Unlike Bailey, who received accolades for her performance, Zegler seemed to be the object of increasing criticism due to her words and position. The once bright promise of Disney's Snow White remake has turned into a divisive spectacle, with Zegler at its center. The Little Mermaid's treatment by Halle Bailey showed the possibility of a thoughtful and sympathetic reimagining. She was highly commended for her ability to honor the original memory and be fresh and faithful to the films. Zegler was commended for her ability to honor the original, while fusing her own unique flair. Rachel Zegler's contempt for Snow White, on the other hand, is clearly disrespectful to the well-loved tale. Fans now question how someone who didn't like the original as a child and doesn't seem to value its legacy can embody one of Disney's most iconic characters. And while the uproar centers on Zegler's comments, the real issue is Disney's continuous errors in reimagining its beloved masterpieces. Joe Rogan just added his voice, highlighting the dire repercussions. Zegler, however, has claimed that being in the limelight is an unavoidable part of being famous and has depicted herself as the victim of ongoing cyberbullying. That is somewhat accurate, but it's hard to ignore her role in escalating these arguments. Instead of lowering tensions, she has continuously fueled the flames with comments and actions that revive fan outrage. Zegler's tendency to garner media attention every few weeks has further weakened the already precarious Snow White adaptation. Her well-known Instagram meltdown is the ideal example. In an article that has since been removed, she expressed her fury at the prospect of Donald Trump beating Kamala Harris in a presidential election, writing, "I hope Trump voters, Trump supporters, and Trump himself never know peace." The comments sparked criticism, which was not surprising. Some referred to them as crazy, while others considered her as a burden for Disney. The argument didn't really finish there. Zegler subsequently called out Elon Musk in public and urged followers to quit using Twitter, stating, "Get off Elon's app." This just heightened the public's dissatisfaction, further alienated viewers, and intensified the backlash against her and Disney. With every new controversy, the Snow White remake seemed to be moving closer to being a cautionary tale about how to handle great masterpieces. Some people see Rachel Zegler's bold statements as a positive shift and a sign that she isn't afraid to be herself. But her tendency to voice such strong opinions has only made her image more divisive in the eyes of many, especially when it comes to her role in a Disney movie targeted at families like Snow White. Zegler's political interpretation is just one part of the story, however. She has frequently caused controversy, even in settings that seem to be hilarious. An ideal example is her dramatic reading of Britney Spears' tweets during the singer's well-reported argument with her sister. Many individuals thought Zegler's effort to add humor to the issue was tone-deaf, especially considering how serious the Free Britney movement was. Then she proceeded in her unadulterated manner. In 2022, she gained notoriety for expressing her frustration at not being invited to the Academy Awards while being the star of the highly nominated West Side Story. Others felt it was dishonest for her to openly express her grievances, even if they shared her anguish, especially when many artists experience similar rejections without making a show of it. She has become one of Hollywood's most hated actresses due to her public behavior, and now there are questions about whether Disney will be able to continue to support her or whether they will need to sever ties with her before the Snow White adaptation fails miserably. Disney's attempts to salvage the film have likewise been appalling. After the new trailer was posted, the company quickly took it down, which sparked even more rumors about the movie's future. They seem to be caught in a never-ending cycle of errors. The newly published 2022 set photos, which include an updated version of the Seven Dwarfs, should also not be missed. Instead than hiring persons with dwarfism, Disney chose to utilize a diverse cast of actors with a variety of heights and body forms. Despite the studio's assertions that they engaged with the dwarfism community to avoid stereotypes, the damage had already been done. Disney had to cope with the consequences of their choices as a result of the swift and harsh criticism. Some fans are even finding themselves more drawn to the Wicked Queen than Snow White herself, believing that the core of the original Snow White narrative has been lost. Disney has come under fire from critics who believe that the company is politically correct and has diluted key elements of the well-known Snow White tale. Disney's image is definitely hurt by the fact that some people think the evil is depicted more compellingly than the heroes. Even former Imagineers have suggested that Disney considered distributing the film directly on Disney Plus rather than risking a traditional theater release. They argue that taking this move might help stop the response from becoming worse. Joe Rogan recently expressed his view, saying very bluntly that Disney would be better off releasing the film on streaming platforms in an effort to steer clear of the negative publicity surrounding it. Although it's a bold move, a theatrical release might prove to be a big gamble for Disney, given the film's mounting criticism. What do you think? Is this film bound to fail, or can Disney still make it work? Please remember to subscribe for future updates and leave your ideas in the comments area. I'll see you in the next video. Listen carefully as I discuss. Next episode.